get started, I want to give honor to my pastor and Bishop Blankenship, Sister Blankenship, and Pastor and Sister Bembry, and Pastor and Sister Clay. I also want to give honor to the visiting bishop, Bishop Salute. Verse 10 reads, And when Pharaoh drew nigh, the children of the Israel lifted up their eyes, and behold, the Egyptians marched after them, and they were sore afraid, and the children of Israel cried out unto the Lord. And they said unto Moses, Because there were no graves in Egypt, hast thou taken us away to die in the wilderness? Wherefore hast thou dealt thus with us, to carry us forth out of Egypt? Is not this the word that we did tell thee in Egypt, saying, Let us alone, that we may serve the Egyptians? For it had been better for us to serve the Egyptians than that we should die in the wilderness. And Moses said unto the people, Fear not, stand still and see the salvation of the Lord, which he will show you today. For the Egyptians who ye have seen today, ye shall see them again no more forever. The Lord shall fight for you, and he shall hold your peace, and ye shall hold your peace. And the Lord said unto Moses, Wherefore criest thou unto me? Speak thou unto the children of Israel, that they go forward. But lift up thou thy rod, and stretch out thine hand over the sea, and divide it, and the children of Israel shall go on dry ground through the midst of the sea. You may be seated. Many of you may not realize this, but our parking lot wasn't always as big as it is. Amen. At least the way I remember it, right about where the building is, going all the way across and back, there was grass. When we had our picnics, that was the area that we had our picnics. The building that is there, the two doors that sit on this side, were bathroom doors. The door that's on the front was a concession stand door. As you could tell, that window there looks like a concession stand window. The building, there was another building on the other side of that building. And that particular building was, to me, one of the most beautiful buildings I've ever seen. It had brick walls that were about 3 or 4 feet high. It had 2 posts on the corner that were brick that held up the roof. It was attached to the building that's out there as well, so that's the other side that held up the roof. And in the middle of this was 2 of the most beautiful things I've ever seen in my entire life. They sat side by side or back to back, 2 3-foot by 6-foot barbecue pits. Yes, I am telling you, we here at Norfolk Apostolic once owned a barbecue pit. And like I said, they were beautiful. I cried when we had to let them go. The story that I started from had the children of Israel standing at the Red Sea. They had just left Egypt, and they were being followed by the Egyptian army. They were looking at the Red Sea, telling Moses that he brought them out there to die, either in the sea or by the hand of the army. And the only reason that they went out was holding on to a promise. 16 years ago, Pastor came to us, and he said he had an idea. He said, there's 2 buildings down the street that I feel like we need to purchase. One of them was the FLC, and the other one was Fisherman's Net. And in part of this project, we were going to upgrade the sanctuary here and rebuild the parking lot. And like I said, tear down everything that was there and expand the parking lot. You say to me, Brother Myers, how do these 2 situations relate? I'm glad you asked. If we keep the barbecue pit, because that's the whole point. If we keep the barbecue pit, we now have to walk from back there to the FLC on our picnic days. And some of y'all don't even like walking from the back of the parking lot to the front. Never mind the fact that the food would be cold by the time we got there. So the only way to keep the barbecue pit is to keep the grass, to keep the lunch area or the picnic area back there. If we do that, then maybe we don't buy the FLC. We don't buy the FLC. We definitely don't buy Fisherman's Net. From what I remember, they were a combined, we had to buy them together. If you leave the grass back there, the picnic area alone, you don't expand the parking lot. Why expand the sanctuary if you're not going to expand the parking lot? Problem with that is, from what I've heard, when churches get to a point when it's time to grow and they don't grow, they start to shrink. There is no staying in one spot. If it took 10 years to get to that point, that means the last 6 years don't happen. If you've received the Holy Ghost here in the last 6 years, can you do me a favor? Can you stand? If you join the church, join this church in the last 6 years, can you go ahead and stand? If you almost left truth, can you go ahead and stand as well? I mean, in the last 6 years. If you almost left truth in the last 6 years, can you please stand? You guys, you have benefited from the great, what I call the great barbecue pit sacrifice. Be blessed, church.